Hi guys, I am Vignesh. Now we are going to know how to model this pivot mechanism simply by using of Solidworks. First select a right plane and using a midpoint line to draw a vertical line. Now I am going to draw a complete profile into a single sketch entities. Okay, same as like a right side view, I am going to draw this overall profile using a line, horizontal line. I am closing this entire profile. Once the complete profile gets closed, then use the smart dimensions now. Using a smart dimensions, to choose the vertical dimension is nothing but 360 mm. Afterwards, the horizontal dimension is 25 mm. If you want to prefer the dimensions to all horizontal alignments, choose this completely by holding your control button and choose an equal constraint. Afterwards, this is selecting a smart dimension now, then initiate a vertical dimension. It is 100 mm. Same as like in bottom one. Choose the two opposite line, then choose an equal constraint. Now selecting this point and drag it up to this particular position. Selecting this vertical line as well as this opposite line. Once it is initiated, what is the dimensions from the center point to this end means 215 mm. 215 plus we are going to multiply a sum of this random value plus 25 mm. Both 25 plus 215 we are going to initiate a 240 mm in this horizontal dimensional area. It is a rough dimensions only. Now selecting this angular line as well as this vertical line, then initiate the angular dimensions of 105 degree. Okay, then we are going to offset this bottom of its entity. So choose an offset in initiating the distance of only 10 mm. Offset distance is 10 mm. Selecting this two opposite line profile, then closing this entire one up to this reference. Once the entire lines gets closed, then trim this excess number of these entities. Afterwards, they are going to use a fillet to choose all kind of a short corners, make it into a fillet up to its preferred radius. Select each of its every point to make a tangential connections. All that profiles are drawn into a single stretch itself. But look at the 3D model. Each portions have a different kind of a height and thickness. How we are going to evaluate this? By drawing one horizontal line, closing this complete one. Look at it, I am drawing two or more multiple profiles within the same sketches itself. How we are going to use that, how we are going to model that related to this examples. Exit this sketch right now. Afterwards, choose this extruded boss and selecting this vertical line. Just uncheck this thin feature. We are not going to apply a thin feature in these portions. So, just uncheck this particular category and choose the selected contour. Select each of its every individual closed portion based on our sketch profiles. Once we select this preferred one, what is the total height for this area? It is 100 mm. Initiate 100 mm under midplane category. The solid model is created under this recommended distance. Afterwards, using the same sketch profile, we are going to create a multiple number of solid portions. Now selecting this closed portions area, just uncheck this thin feature, right click, select clear selections and choose this particular closed profiles to create a solid body under a 60 mm of distance. So select this particular one, then initiate a value from the midplane only, 60 mm thickness. The secondary solid body is almost created. Then we need to create a rib features at the center of its portion. Within the same kind of a sketch profile, I am going to select it in this extruded boss itself. Once you select the profile, based on the closed portion, automatically the solid creates. Now from the midplane, I just initiate the dimensions of 10 mm. Almost all kind of a solid body as created in one singular sketch profile, but use 3 different extruded boss options. Once the solid portion is created, now choose this particular faces and create new sketch. Then draw one circular profile. We are going to eliminate some kind of an excess body. Either you can create an R profile. Now I am going to draw a circular profile in this portion. There is a 2 different kind of radius. First initiate the last one, that is an 50 mm of radius. We are going to eliminate the body using this radius. So selecting 2 opposite points and initiate the dimensions of 90 mm. Why 90 mm means the top body total distance is 180 mm. From the center, it is 90 mm. That's why I mentioned 90 mm in the same positions itself. Then initiate a dimensional value of 100. It is nothing but the radius value of 50. Once we draw a main outer diameter profile, then exit the sketch right now. Using this profile, we are going to create a pocket. So just to go to this extruder cut, choose the through or both option. Then only we can able to eliminate the body at both sides. Now from the center point, I am going to draw a circular profile and make it exactly relate to this each other. Just to initiate the dimensions of 100 mm. Afterwards, again we are going to draw a circular profile from the center point. The dimension is nothing but just 80 mm because the radius is 40, that's why. Then draw a random circular profile because Y means there is some kind of steps in the solid formations. How we are going to remove that? By drawing one horizontal line, it is just offset at the distance of 5 mm. Once we initiated this particular distance value, now draw another line profile at two opposite endpoints. Just to look at it, how I am going to create a solid body in these portions. Drawing a multiple profiles within the same sketch, then we are going to achieve the recommended portions. Okay, from the center point, I am going to draw another circle. It must be placed in between this particular distance, that is the same distance. How we are going to achieve this? The total distance is only 10 mm, half of the distance is 5 mm. So just to mention this point and initiating the dimensional value of 5 mm. Select the two opposite points and mention 5 mm. Lot of profiles, circular profiles, both the line one as well as a circle are merged within each other. Let's achieve the recommended portions. Closing these two opposite endpoints up to this circle. Once it is coincided within each other, then exit the sketch right now. Afterwards, I am going to choose an extruder boss. Under selected contrast area, select this particular portions. Once it is selected, automatically we achieve the recommended area. Look at it. Just we achieved by drawing of different circles and line profiles. Instead of drawing an arc profile and using a trim entities to remove that particular portions, using this we achieve this. Okay, once we created that, select this top face and create new sketch. Afterwards, draw a vertical line profile. What is the dimensions for this vertical dimensions area is vertical line is 215 mm. Then choose the points and place it on this vertical line. The recommended points distance is 17 mm. So select a point and place it on this particular portions. Then the dimensions for this vertical line is 75 mm. So mention 75 mm in this category. Almost the two different points are placed it equally. One is at 215, another one is at 75. In between distance is 140 mm. Exit the sketch and choose an whole wizard right now. Select the category called position. Once we initiated into a positions, then only we can able to apply whatever the type was. Now go to the type and choose an tapered portions. Select M16 under the ISO standards and choose the distance is nothing but 25 mm. Mention 25 in both the thread depth as well as in hole depth. Now enter that. A solid cut it's created. Choose the top face and create a new sketch, then draw one corner rectangular profile. Then what is the horizontal dimension? It is 60 mm. Then vertical dimension is only 8 mm because the depth cut is nothing but only 8 mm only. Now I am going to select this overall line as well as an origin point, then use a midpoint to merge within each other. Exit the sketch. Then choose an extruder cut to remove this portion up to this end of this area. That's why I selected through all tile. Once the entire portions gets removed, now the first primary body is created using of this both the standard dimension as well as a random dimension. Now select this back face and draw one circular profile. Then we are going to fix this profile. Just to draw one vertical center line from this area. Then the dimension for the circular profile is nothing but 50 mm. It is almost drawn. Then draw one vertical center line. Place this point at this midpoint location. Then draw one horizontal center line at this area. Then exit this and choose this particular profile. Mirror the entities from top to bottom one. Exit this sketch right now. Afterwards, I am going to select this and form a solid body up to the thickness of 5 mm. Okay. Choose this particular faces. Create new sketch. Draw a circular profile with the dimensions of 20 mm. Or choose an whole wizard. Selecting this face. Using a position, choose this two opposite center point. Under a preferred type, I am going to choose this legacy holes. Drill to holes. And what is the dimensions for this? It is 20 mm. So select a 20 mm from this types of dimensions. Then choose a depth of through hole. Almost the entire solid body is created. This is how we achieved by using of a simple sketch profiles. Let's create this top quotient simply. Select a top plane and create a new sketch. Draw a center point, rectangular profile. Then initiating the dimensions. The horizontal dimension is 180 mm, I think. Yes, 180 mm. So mention 180 mm horizontally, then vertical dimension is only 100 mm. Once the rectangular profile is mentioned, then we are going to eliminate the corner points by using of a fillet. The fillet is not given in this current drawing, so random fillet dimension is 5 mm. Selecting each of its every point one by one. Either by selecting a two opposite line or simply select this end point. Then exit the sketch right now. Form an extruded boss. Using an extruded boss, we just create a solid body up to the thickness of 20 mm. Once it is mentioned, now selecting this front plane and draw a circular profile. What is the dimensions for this two different circle? From the primary body, we just initiated the circular. It is nothing but the dimensions of 40 mm and 50 mm. So from the origin point, I am going to draw a two circular profile. First one and second one. After that, just to mention the dimensions. Initial dimension is 80 mm. Secondary dimension is nothing but 100 mm. Once the two different circular profile is drawn, then draw an horizontal line. So choose a line and draw an horizontal line offsetting from the distance of 5 mm. So mention this line offsetted from the distance of only 5 mm. The secondary circular profile we need to draw from this mid portions also. Once the two endpoints are closed on the two opposite circular ends, then draw on another circle from this origin and place at the middle of these portions by just offsetting the values distance of 5 mm. So using a points placed at the center of its location, then choose the smart dimensions from the point initiating the horizontal dimensions of 5 mm. Look at it, three different circle, one central line. Let's achieve this recommended area. Instead of that, let's draw on another line profile horizontally. Selecting this horizontal edge and form it into a line by using of convert entities. Okay, just exit the sketch right now. Afterwards, I am going to pick an extruder boss and choose this recommended area. Under selected contrast, selecting these particular portions. First one, secondary one and tertiary one. Based on the closed portions and intersections of both the line and circle, we just achieved the primary part. That is creating a recommended body we have. Now select a front plane and create new sketch. Simply draw one circular profile and using a co-radial to merge within each other. Afterwards, eliminate the body using extruder cut. Using through wall both type. Let's select the top faces and form a hole with the dimensional diameter of M16. Now place this command manager. Draw a midpoint line. Then mention the dimensions of 140 mm. Afterwards, change it into a construction line. Then exit the sketch right now. Afterwards, just to pick this whole wizard and choose these positions Now select this top face and using our two opposite points, we are going to achieve this M16 diameter hole. Select this M16 type, achieve this up to this distance. Now the secondary body is also drawn. If you look at the upper body, it is nothing but the cap by using of a circular profile as well as a rectangular profile. Now choose a front plane and draw one vertical line, then measure that. Instead of that, we draw a circular profile from the origin point. Instead of that, selecting this previous sketch, choose the center point, just select this coincide, delete it. After that, place it up to this offset distance of 5 mm. Now selecting both the center point, using a vertical constraints to fix it linear. Exit the sketch and form a solid body from the offset distance of 5 mm because the circle is not in the center of its portions right now. Now draw a vertical line, then initiate a distance of 48 mm. So mention 48 mm in this current category. Choose this and change it into a construction line. Exit the sketch. Let's create a plane. If you want to create a plane up to this distance, either by two options. One is selecting a line and a point. Next one is choose this particular faces and offset it up to the distance of 48 mm. Either we can create a plane by two different references. Now I am going to choose this line and endpoint to create a plane because I want to place it at the center of its origin point. Choose a plane and create a sketch. Draw a simple circular profile and mention with the dimensions of 30 mm. So mention the dimensions of 30 mm. Exit the sketch. Using this sketch, create a solid body up to this opposite solid. How we can easily achieve this? Now select in this recommended type. Instead of choosing a plane, select the recommended type called up to next. Based on the opposite surface, the automatically current solid body easily created up to the next of its portions. Choose a top plane again, create a new sketch, then draw on another circular profile. Then what is the dimensional value? It is a 16 mm diameter. From the smart dimension, choose this into a 16 mm diameter. Exit the sketch, then create a pocket. The second solid body is almost created by the number of circles as well as the rectangular profile itself. Top portion is simply created. This is an upper body. Let's create the another body. It is simply nothing but choose a right plane, create a new sketch, draw a horizontal line from the midpoint type, then draw a complete closed profiles. This is a random category. I'll just initiate a new sketch, both the vertical, horizontal and number of the stepped portions and all type of a corner area. Once all points gets closed, now mention the dimensions to close this area. First is selecting this particular point and place it on this vertical origin point. The horizontal dimension is 126 mm. So mention 126 mm right now. Then the vertical dimension is almost 95. Now we are going to mention the horizontal dimension value of 110. So mention 110. It is offsetted, but doesn't care about that because at last we achieve it simply at this recommended origin point itself. 60 mm dimensions, horizontal dimensions. Then what is the vertical dimension? Total is 95 mm. From the half of its value, you are going to achieve its 95 divided by 2. Let's place each of its every points relate to it and form a proper closed portions. Look at it. One point is offset next to the another. If you want to close this proper one, there's a lot of steps which is we need to constrain it because already the endpoints is not constrained within each other. So first is selecting all points and use an horizontal constraints to fix it equally. Afterwards again place my cursor and move these profiles at the top of its portions. Then we need to fix this. Instead of that, we are going to achieve the random dimension because none of the dimension is not showing here. So let's give the vertical dimensions of 5 mm. Achieved on one of its portions. Here, instead of giving a dimension, look at it one end is offset next to this another end. Instead of giving the dimensions, now I am going to draw one horizontal line profile at the two opposite ends. So first delete this overall dimensions right now. Choose a construction line and connect the two opposite points. Then select the midpoint as well as an origin point. Then use the vertical constraints to fix that area. Once it is fixed, now mention the dimension. It is almost fixed equally with this recommended portions. Instead of drawing a random profile and random dimension, just you made it properly by using of a geometrical constraints. Exit this sketch right now using a revolved bus to create a solid body. Just select this particular reference, delete it, and choose this horizontal line to create a solid body. Now I am going to select a top plane and simply draw one circular profile. What is the dimensions for this? So let's draw a circle under the dimensions of 15 mm diameter and create a pocket to match it with this exact whole area. So get back to this previous drawing and selecting this top plane and draw a circular profile. Then mate it. Mention the dimensions of 15 mm. Choose a blind type. Up to this next of its opposite portion, we just eliminate the entire solid board. Now choose this particular faces, then draw a circular profile with the diameter value of 60 mm. So mention the 60 mm value right now and create a pocket. Once the primary profile is drawn, then create a pocket using extruded cut. Choose the through wall option and form a solid body. Almost the entire body is created. Now we are going to assemble the entire body right now. So choose an assembly, select all three components, open the part into this particular position. Once it is placed, basically the component takes into a default place. First we need to constrain the overall primary body at one position. Choose this particular primary body, right click and show this component. Afterwards, using a mate, selecting the right plane at the origin area and choose the same kind of a planes in the part positions. We are going to constrain every area under degrees of freedom. That's why I am mating each of its every individual entity. Select a front plane and choose this front plane in the component made within each other. Now get back to this particular portions. Let's fix this. Selecting these two concentric portions. Once you selected, automatically the constraint standard mates shows on this mouse cursor area. Selecting the same circular portions, that is the cylindrical portions, to mate within each other. Holding a control button, choose these two opposite face, then using a coincident constraint to mate within each other. Now I am going to fix it concentrically. So choose the two opposite concentrical faces to mate with each other. Then I am going to mate it with the advanced mate called width. Instead of selecting this tool, first using a control, selecting these two opposite faces of one primary body, same as like selecting two opposite faces of secondary body. Then the width option is automatically shows. Using that, I just mate it up to this opposite one. Almost the entire solid body are merged within each other. That's all, we done.